So I didn't come to work for about a month, I just didn't want to come to work. I didn't want to work at that point. I just want to sit down, I just not think about anything, I just not do anything. So that was the lowest point of my life that I said I probably at that point, if I did decide to give up and drop everything, I won't be here lah. I will be probably doing something else. I don't know. So you just need that one person, that one good person to actually tell you exactly what you need to hear.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon podcast. So we talk to business leaders in Asia. And today we have the CEO of Media Prima Audio. So we are at actually Media Prima Audio here today. So we have Nazri Noran. And I have a lot of questions. I actually dig all his photos and we are going through it today. So let me do a quick introduction before we get into the first question. So he's appointed CEO since 2021 and he has many, many years, right? About 23 years of experience in radio, and he has been instrumental, phenomenal success, award-winning such initiatives as KJ Jadi DJ, and also current president of the Commercial Radio Malaysia, CRM. And his influence is more than Media Prima Audio, and he's also award-winning, and we'll talk about awards also. So he has Lifetime Achievement of the Year at the Malaysia Prestigious Industry Awards 2021, and also the Bumiputera Business Excellence Awards, BBEA. Nazri, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you for having me. Thank you to the team. I'm glad to be here. This is actually my first podcast as a guest. I got invited to a few, but I just wanted to have this session as the first exclusively for you guys.
Thank you so much.
Not that I'm so special lah, but
So I followed Nazri since the Podfest, and that's why I said, oh yeah, this is all his things he do, and we're connected on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So I did my research. So Nazri is actually a sneakerhead and AJ1s, right?
Yeah, AJ1 brand.
I'm also just for this interview. I'm not sure you can see. I also wear my Jordans here. So Nazri, first question is: so since you're such a sneakerhead, what is your top 3 sneakers that you own?
Okay, I'm big fan of Air Jordan. Not just because of the sneaker, but because of him being that champion basketball player lah. Because I do follow his football career since Chicago Bulls. His mentality is superb, and I think I carry on until today. My top 3 sneakers, definitely AJ1 is the best. So I'm seasonal now. I'm at this point where I'm only collecting what I like, what is interesting to me, and what stories is behind it. So right now, and surprisingly, I did not know this last year, but this year, why I share this with you is because suddenly I'm into AJ4 for some reason because of the design and also because of the retros are coming back. So the Bradford Reimagines just came back. I got that one. I just like that silhouette for some reason. But I do have other collections as well. But in terms of the models, not just specific in terms of the design itself, AJ1 is definitely my top 1 list. And then I have AJ4 as my top 2 list. Certain designs only, not all. And then it would be my AJ11s. Yeah, I do have Dunks. I do have Air Maxes. I love that as well.
On a daily basis, I wear Air Force.
Air Force. I do have Air Forces. I do have a lot of Air Forces. See, I collected for some time already. So just to give you a heads up, some time ago when I was with another radio station, I was kind of like endorsed by Nike for about 2 years. So I do get some good free shoes from them and all that. I got quite an extensive collection of Air Force, which I cannot wear them today. I only have 1 Air Force left, which is the all whites. That one I wear for special occasion. I have to keep it really clean. You know how it's very tough to keep the whites very clean, right? Yeah, so that. And then afterwards, I got sponsored by New Balance. And because it was great and I accepted it, and because my team also was endorsed by New Balance, is because Liverpool, my favorite football team, their jersey was produced by New Balance. So it was like blessing in disguise. I was like, okay, I get to get free Liverpool jerseys as well, every time they came out. So that was a cool thing. So it was nice for 2 years. Now I'm free. I go back to collecting just what I like lah. And it's not limited to just Nike Air Jordans and all that. Basically, Adidas as well. I do have some New Balances, and some other brands that I feel like, oh, this is nice. I have the latest Vans as well, the Pak Din Musa that just released, the slip-ons. I like slip-ons more than anything else, just because I guess it looks comfy. I just worn it once only. I haven't worn it more than one time, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
So you like the AJ4? And I know what you mean, because now also I collect things like watches and shoes, as long as they have a meaning to me. Like I like this one, it's called McDonald's. So like, what are you so you mentioned you were at SneakerCon also.
Yeah, I was.
So what are you looking for now?
So the recent thing, okay, so sometimes I see something that I really like, but it's very hard to get and it's quite rare. So one of the things when I went to see Taylor Swift, and I was already in Singapore, so it was the time when SneakerCon was also, happening at the same time. So I went to SneakerCon lah. It was my first SneakerCon ever. I've been watching it and following it and seeing what it's like, people trading and all this kind of stuff. So I was actually looking for Travis Scott, which is quite rare, right? But it's so expensive. Trying to find a good deal lah. But to find a size, my size, which is very hot size lah, size US 9. So I was like, it didn't go well. The shoes that was there was not the one that I was looking for, so I did not end up buying anything. So again, I will not go all out like before. Really, I see, I buy. I try to find a way of buying it. But one thing about this is I don't encourage myself or try to limit myself to buy from resellers when the prices go 2 times, 3 times high and all that. I just don't think it's worth it. I did it once and I said, no, it's just a waste. I try to buy retail. No, I try to find the best deal as I can. So I guess that's something that I just like about sneakers. It started way young. My mother gave me my first pair of Nike Dunk Highs. I remember black and gold color when I was 12 years old. I fell in love with it ever since. Afterwards, I do have my Reebok pumps. I love Reebok pumps. I used to wear that almost every day to school. So then it's just something that I just had to have in my collection, but I don't wear it as much often now lah.
Wow. Okay, cool. Travis Scott. So yeah, speaking about your mom, so start early. You start from your childhood. So we have this photo here, and just to show, later Elton will put the photo.
Yeah,
this is the
cool.
photo.
Yeah, that's
your
my
I think
father.
late father. And,
Yeah.
I think your childhood is in Klang Valley. Right.
Okay, so I grew up in Klang Valley in Batu Cave, my family home. So I was schooling sekolah rendah until I was grade 3. So grade 3 until when I was 13 years old, I moved to Toronto, Canada. That picture is in Toronto, Canada.
Oh,
Yeah,
was
so-
that like Malaysia?
Yeah, no. So this is in the fall. Yeah. So what happened is that my father, that picture, my late father, he had to retire early because my mother was called by the government to work for the Malaysian Student Department to work overseas for 3 years contract in Toronto. So we all had to move there and school there lah. So we all had to follow suit, and then my father had to retire early lah. So he retired early, took care of all of us, sent us to school and all that, cook at home. He was the house husband lah.
Wow.
So this was literally, I was very close with him. So really I cannot go anywhere without him, that kind of thing lah. So then he passed on while he was in Toronto, Canada. So that's when we had to stay a little bit longer for 5 years, until we kind of went through our mourning lah, that we lost him over there. So he passed away due to a heart attack lah. So then kind of we rekindled back home and just regrouped back again and restarted all over again, especially my mother lah. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
And since you had a number of years in Canada,
Yeah.
so how has it shaped you? Does it shape your music or does it shape your language? In any way?
It shaped my language definitely because I was speaking Canadian American English. When I came back, I was meeting all my cousins and my friends and all that. Hui, Americannya. And I mean, I could speak Malay, but very pelat lah, you know. So then when I got back to normal sekolah menengah SMK, I struggled lah. I struggled with the Malay language. But I mean, it's for a while lah, of course, right? You have to reset all over again. But in terms of my shape of my persona in terms of music and all that, I was so into Western music. I knew literally almost everything about it, and I love sports like baseball and basketball, and that's why I fell in love with Michael Jordan in his career in basketball. I do play basketball. I do play baseball. I'm only into football, Liverpool, when I came back here. Yeah. So my family is actually some Aston Villa fan, some Liverpool fan, and some Everton fan for some reason. So, but Liverpool, mostly Liverpool. So only I picked it up later on when I came back. But yeah, it shaped my thinking, my way of seeing the culture as well, and being more open to music and sports overall lah. Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Taste of music is, I love everything about rock. And that's where I started out in the early years of um, my teenage years. Really, that glam rock, classic rock. Those Aerosmith, Motley Crue type of songs, music. I love that. So because I have two elder brothers, okay, one of it is really super into this glam rock and all that. The other was into more R&B, pop and all that. So I was mixed between the two. So I was influenced by that type of music. Then I got into a little bit of R&B as well, like Tevin Campbell, the Tony Braxtons, the After Sevens and all that lah. So I was influenced by that taste of music. But then I got into my own type of music that I love, and I was into hip hop music because of my school friends. So I got influenced with that one. So I mix everything all together and become this rojak lah. Hence, the story will go into how I started with my my band in high school. So that says a lot about my taste in music.
Yeah. We were at the same before we started interview. We were at the same concert. We were at Red Hot Chili Peppers at the exact same concert.
Exactly, I didn't know that.
And I was at the left side. He was at the right side. And
Yeah.
probably same zone probably as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So yes, I know he's such a music fan. So from the childhood, now we move to his early years. Before he had a radio career, he had a
Yeah.
music career. So starting with this photo, Nazri.
Wow. This is the first time I went into the recording studio to record my band when I started when I was in school. Okay, so I was about, say, 15, 16. I met up with a lot of friends after school, and my school in KL was in Maxwell, KL, right? So obviously my kampung home is in Batu Caves, but I go to school in Maxwell. So after school, what I do is I will hang out with my friends. And when I hang out with my friends, and some of them will share their, hobbies and all that, music. And my school is all boys lah. So when it's all boys, we'll obviously talk about girls, we'll talk about music, we'll talk about sports and all that. But music seems to be a lot of conversations around it. And I actually started to go to a music studio. So at that time, a lot of things that we spend, other than going hang out, lepak makan and all that, there's no like smartphone, social media to just play around and all that, right? Or watch videos and all that. We had to really do physical stuff, either lepak a friend's house or play game at an arcade, or go to a jamming studio, which we decided to go to a jamming studio and let our music ability shine lah, to see how we were. So we found someone played drums, guitar, bass, and of course I didn't know how to play any of that. I only know how to play. I actually learned in school back in Toronto, Canada, playing the French horn, organ, and viola. So it's more classical. I actually wanted to play drums, guitar, and all that, which is the cool instruments lah. But I ended up playing all that three, which also, contributed to my taste in music and also understanding the sound of the music and also the keys and all that lah. I don't play it as often now. I don't have a French horn at home and all that, but I do fiddle around with keyboards and stuff. So ended up we put together a band. We jam at the studio when we have time to after school, and we do have a lot of time. So we just jam random songs and all that, and created our own music. And it was nothing specific. It was just putting it out there and just let's play something, right? So when that happened, so I hang out also continuously on weekend, and I met up with some friends to a friend from school that was hanging out in this arena that is Central Market. That was a place where all these underground musicians was hanging out. So if you know the bands now from today that you've heard about, whether it's OAG, Butterfingers, Carburetor Dung, and all that, right? They actually came from that spot that they hang out, which is in Central Market. So they meet up there, and then they share, a lot of this music and taste in music, and then demo tapes and gigs to flyers and all that. So we met for friend or friend or friend, and then I met not my school friend that I was jamming with, but other friends that was into already the music that they were playing, which is hardcore. There was metal. There was a bit of alternative in there. So we just shared our taste in music. And at that time, I was really into Cypress Hill. I was really into Beastie Boys, those rap stuff. And I found out there was some of them who was really into that kind of music, because Beastie Boys, they had also a punk album, punk rock album. They had a hip hop album, and had a jazz album as well. So it was really cool to see. They were really experimenting with the taste in music, and we were sharing that. And at that point, I remember it was like, hey, do you think we can put together a band just for a side project and do something? So we did. We put together some guys who playing really hardcore guitar. Wanted to be a part of it. This drummer was playing something that is more grunge alternative, and the bassist that was more into funk Jamiroquai. And I said I could rap, right? So I found another friend of ours who was Singaporean. He was into that as well, rapping. So I said, okay, let's try it out lah. We never had a rap band before. Let's try it. So because it was a project band, that band that you see in the picture, we named it as Project AK. AK, we didn't, AK didn't mean anything. AK was thinking that, AK maybe it's a short form for AK-47 and all that. We were a bit more aggressive and violent lah. Kononnya nak jadi macam, wah, cool lah, nama macam dahsyat. So, yeah, Project AK was the name of the band. So we played something that was a mixture of rock and rap. And because I cannot sing. You ask me to sing now, I cannot sing. Rapping, I try because I was really influenced by Cypress Hill, Beastie Boys, and all that. So we put that together and all that and say, hey, maybe there's something here. And we created a song. And it was really quick because everybody knew what to do. Somehow it just clicked like that. So then a friend was organizing a compilation of this underground music, a mixture of everything from, again, people at Central Market that had already a band. And they say, hey, you want to join? And that person, if you know today, his name is Iman Tang. So Iman Tang, he organized a lot of concerts now and all that. So he was really into, he has his own band as well back in the day. So he said, hey, let's put it together. I said, okay, let's do lah. I mean, let's try. We don't know what is the outcome. So that picture is actually our first song that we recorded. And we recorded 2 songs for that compilation called Visionville Hardcore. So Visionville Hardcore was a compilation of all these underground bands together, and Project AK was one of it. And we have 2 songs in there. Don't ask me to play it.
I listened to it.
You did? Oh no.
Nazri showed us the album. We'll put the photo later in as well. The album looks very cool. The remastered album, and I quite like it.
You do?
It is a more rockish Beastie Boys. It's like and I know the inspiration because I also listen to Beastie Boys. I was like,
Yeah.
this is so cool. I listened to a few songs. I said,
it was random because we literally had no clue about what we wanted to do and all that. We just put out our feelings onto the lyrics and into the music. And the lyrics was literally was it was uncensored. There's a lot of things coming out from there, but it's also the fact that it started something that we thought we never have contributed. It was sort of called a small movement. And then everywhere, and then after that recording, we got a lot of small gigs, and our first few gigs that we had is at Piccadilly. There was a lot of gigs happening there almost every week or every other week.
Piccadilly PJ.
Piccadilly PJ, yeah. And then it started to spread out, and then suddenly it's like everyone wants to have Project AK to play at a gig. And it's like, okay, and then we started to have fan base. It's like, what? Oh, okay, where is this going? That was cool. And then years later, I mean, it's not like we had a long career and all that. It's just that we had so much of time. I mean, I was still a student then, and then some of them were, they had their own careers, lah. Yeah. So this one is actually another band that I was involved in. This is more of a rave techno. It's called Wavefront.
Okay.
I was still rapping on it, but the music was more advanced, more electronica and all that. So that was a different project aside from Project K. Project K was more live band, rap rock band, that type of thing. So we experimented with a lot of things, and I was like, okay lah, let's do lah. Maybe there's something there also, and I was into that. And that Wavefront was more influenced by the Prodigy. So the Prodigy was the influence behind Firestarter Prodigy.
Okay.
Yeah. So I became that hype man, that rapper into that Wavefront lah. So that was an interesting project. And there was another band that I also was involved in, but it was not on record, but on the gigs. It was ABC Dead. Props up to my brother, close friend, Bob KU2. He passed away. Already left us, but he was a really close friend during the time that we met in CM, so Central Market. So he was, really close to us. He gave me confidence to go on stage. I'm really, as a person, very shy person. Not somebody who is like you see out there who talk to people and all that. Very shy. I won't be the first person to open up to you and talk to you and say hello to you. I'll be the last person who'll be sitting down there quietly and do my own thing. So how I started to have that confidence on stage is actually I give credit to him lah. The late Bob K2. He encouraged me a lot. He's very close to my family. He took care of me because I was still in school. He made sure that I come home safe. He would drive me home also. Then he became on his own. He became a good actor. He had his own band as well. He became more mainstream and all that. So we lost touch after that, and also we lost him. We lost a good friend. So that journey was really good for me because I can remember so well. It also shaped me as a person in terms of what I like and how I look into the whole creative industry. So what I learned from there is pretty much I learned about myself. I learned that I actually could do this. I just need more confidence. Somebody who believes in me and put me out there. And then really after that, it was really like, okay, let's go. Well, where do we perform next? So I was really coming out from my shell. I was really nice exposure lah. Nice considered. I was leveling up at that point that I never knew I would be. So it was nice. And surprising thing is, when I met people like Joe Flizzo and Moods Pop Shavit today, when I talk to them about their music, and I'm a fan of their music. I love what they do. I love To Fat. I love Joe Flizzo. Love Pop Shavit and Moods. And they have become my close friends. And only when we got to know each other more as a friend, then they tell me, hey, actually I went to your gig, I said, what gig? I said, Project AK? I said, huh? When? Piccadilly? Yeah. So we got influenced by you. What? Yeah, the reason why we're doing what we do now is because we saw you on stage. I was like, really? No. So it was like quite surprising to me. Until today they tell me that. It's like, yeah, we saw you on stage, Project AK, we thought you were the bomb. And we saw you at a gig, and that's how we started getting that influence and wanted to do our own. I was like really blown away lah.
I saw in your photos you also went to a few gigs with to see Pop Shavit. Do you also know AJ from Pop Shavit?
Yeah, I do.
So fun fact, I now also do a lot of jamming. So I do jam sessions with AJ sometimes.
Oh, I see. So you have a band together lah.
Oh, no. We just go, it's like jazz lah. So you can, why can't you get jam? Yeah, so it's fun. So hey, Pop Shavit also there.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, so from music and then slowly, of course, you transition to your career. So the next photo you have is this one with our previous podcast guest, of course, Dato' Jake Man himself. And he said, I saw he wrote, okay, he's the one that hired you to radio.
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
So,
So it was a transition of my situation during the time of my post kiranya student days lah. So with my band, it was still there, but it was not as active as before. And I was, I wanted to go into a career. I got a job at a record label, first at Strange Culture Records, an indie label. Iman Tang was actually the head of that label. He got me into the work, exposure in the career, in the entertainment world. But at that point, I was still trying to find myself. Before that, I was, trying to see where am I going after this. What do I do? Of course, as your mother, your parents, will tell you, okay, you should be doing this and all that, right? I actually didn't know what I wanted that time. So she told me, okay lah, then you learn about the legal lah, being a lawyer or something and all that. I said, of course but then I have to jaga her lah, jaga hati dia lah, So I worked at a legal firm first. I was good at it. I was learning about the business and all that, but at the same time trying to learn on the side, trying to get my degree in it and all that. But I just didn't finish it. I was like halfway. I said, no lah, I think I want to find myself. I don't know if I can do this. I'm good at it. I'm not to say that I'm bad at it. I'm not even great at it. I'm okay lah. But I don't think I can do it. I don't know. It's not in there. So something was missing. Then met up with Iman Tang. He said, hey, you want to try out? I have a job, maybe something there. Then he gave me a job at Live Records. I was a PR exec lah, assistant to trying to promote songs to radio stations, TV stations and all that. Okay lah, I mean, I learned about it and all that, but again, I wasn't good at it. I was still learning about it. It's different. It's more casual. What I like about it, from being in a corporate world, in a legal firm, I had to wear, slacks and all that. But being in the music industry, it's like you have to wear jeans. I love that about it, So you don't have to think about dressing up so much. Okay lah. But then, it didn't work out for me. Then he took me into Strange Culture Records. He was setting up the indie label and all that. That's where we found Too Fat. I actually discovered Too Fat with the team and all that. Credit to Damien Mikael for playing me that demo tape that I didn't know who it was. When I heard it, I was like, hey, these guys are good. And then that's how we discovered Too Fat. It was actually Joe Frizzo and Malik. So we tried to expose them, put them to gigs and all that, and then they ended up being with Positive Tone and then releasing and all that, and really being a legend until today lah. Then it didn't work out there as well. Started to elevate myself to other labels like Universal and all that. Also didn't work out well. I guess I wasn't really prepared for it. I'm still understanding about how this industry works. So I was jobless lah. I was jobless for a while, and I was managing a few artists for a while, and one of it was Sarima Ibrahim. I was actually handling her career a little bit lah, helping out lah. And then I just wasn't meant to be. Didn't last long. I was still trying to find something that was like, I need something that is concrete lah. That I don't have to move around and see where I can go as a person in the company. Then I met up with Dato' Jake. Met through a friend, right? So and then I knew him because he was actually this man who was a DJ, but also the person behind Hits, the radio station, right? So I was in awe about what they do, and I love what the station did and all that. And I said, that's interesting, but I know nothing about radio business. I love listening to it, but I know nothing about it. I have no experience. Okay, maybe I met a few people during my career in record labels and all that, but I just still don't know how it works. Okay, so met him, and then one time he just said, "Hey, I have something for you. Do you want to try?" I said, "What do you have for me?" I said, "But I don't have anything concrete lah. If you're willing to join, then I give you a shot and see how it works lah." So I said, you know what? I have nothing to lose anyway. I'm jobless. Give me something lah. So I literally worked for him for free for about a few months lah, maybe 1 2 months, like something like that. Just because I said, okay, you know what? I just want to learn lah, you know. But I mean, he belanja me makan and all that lah. But literally, I had no transport to go to work. I was riding the train and the bus to work and all that until I found a job. And he actually gave me a job when there was an opening. He said, okay, there's an opening. Do you want to try it? Anything lah, can, no problem. So then I landed a job on hits as a night producer, assistant night producer at that point, and eventually months later I became a breakfast show producer for the show Morning Crew, Little Kev and Fly Guy, and that's how my radio career started. So he gave me an opportunity. I took it on, and I literally was just, it was a risk I was taking because I didn't know that there was a permanent job, but I was just learning it anyway. Alhamdulillah lah, it was risky for me that I got a position, and here that's where it started, and this is where I am now. So Alhamdulillah for that.
What I really liked about that is I can see your drive. You said you worked for free first.
Yeah, I did.
You know what?
I did.
And like-
Nobody knew that, no, because only a few people I shared that. But that's the thing, though. It was true. I was working for free because there was no position, and I said I was willing to learn. Because I mean, come on now. I mean, I have no experience. I have known nothing about radio. I cannot just go in there and ask for money to pay me that to do what? Because I don't know the job. I had to learn it, right? So literally, it was like really intensive, free, free college institution kind of thing for a short time, and to see how well I can handle it, lah, right? And then I guess I showed my drive, and then I got the opportunity, and he gave me that slot, that job, and because maybe I showed that I really wanted the job, lah. Okay, that's how it happened, and I thank him for it.
That's so inspiring from him and from
Yeah,
you as well.
yeah.
And yeah, you mentioned you were a producer first with Fat Fapes.
Yeah,
And
Fat
yeah,
Fapes,
we have
yeah.
this photo here with your previous employer, and
Yeah.
a lot of the DJs. You're here.
Yes, yes, yes.
Then Fat Fapes is here.
Yeah.
And all the other radio personalities. I was also a part of this time. Listen to radio. You have like Ian here. You have Rudy here, and then you have like Serena C. And many other people. I don't know,
Yeah.
Low, of course. So,
Yes,
So
yes.
you were part of this radio station
Yes.
for many years.
I was for many years. In fact, I started in 2001 and joining the station, doing the digital radio stations first during my freebie time lah, of learning experience. And then only a few months later, I joined Hits. To become a part of that family. So I was more behind the scenes guy, learning about the producing of the show, the technical point and all that. So I learned a lot from the team, the talents, the heads at that time. Jake was the head of the station. So there was a lot of things that I learned new about the business itself, about creating the content, about music scheduling, about handling a show. And when I started really as a junior, and I was with them for about almost 8 years. I'll say about 2001 until 2008. Yeah, so 7 years lah, 7 years. So I was with them, and I grew with them, and there was a lot of experience that I learned from them. It was the best institution that taught me a lot about radio. I met a lot of artists along the way also lah. There were so many. I met Gwen Stefani. Yeah. I met Christina Milian. I spoke on the phone in terms of interview with Andre 3000 of Outkast. So many stars that we met along the way. I wish I have the pictures to share it, but that time digital phone apa semua tak ada lagi lah. It was all Kodak. But yeah, I still have those pictures. When I did my housekeeping, there was a lot of those pictures that I still have in my photo album. Yeah, so I was really great lah. I mean, then after that, only in late 2008, I moved to a station like X Fresh, Malay station. I was given a challenge to level up my position in my career. And then I said, one of the things that was in mind was that I can do something here. I can elevate myself. I can see myself growing in my career in radio business. And one of the things that I learned so much with the team is that learn everything about it lah. And I love the music so much, and I guess I had the passion for it. Looking back, I was learning about it, about everything to do with radio, not just about creating content, producing the show, scheduling music, producing promos, getting into production, script writing, voiceovers. I tried myself to be an on-air talent as well. I was doing the Malaysian English Top 10 for a while. Yeah, I did that for a while. I was co-hosting it with Junior, co-hosting it a little bit with, well, Ginny Boy for a bit. Yeah, so at that time, Ginny Boy also was part of our team as well, before he became big lah. Yeah, so we did a lot of things that I learned from that, and that's why a lot of things that I do now with Media Prima Audio, I pretty much know it at the back of my hand, literally. Yeah. So from producing and getting the technicals right and all that, I learned it from there. A lot of things I learned. Yeah.
Yeah, we went to a studio tour
Yeah.
last week, and then like I can see that you have been there, done that, and you're so passionate about what you do as well.
Yeah.
So I think in your previous employer, you also moved up the ranks, and then I think you have a few experiences there as well.
Yeah.
That you were part of. In your time in.
Yeah, there was a lot of challenges. I can say not everything was rosy lah. There was moments that I feel stressed. There was moments that I didn't know what to do. There was moments that I was at a roadblock. But because I'm not a very good communicator, I learned a lot from my seniors lah. I look up to a lot of my mentors, my seniors at that time and all that, and try to get feedback from them. What can I do better and all that. There was a lot of criticism that came my way, obviously, and sometimes when you hear this criticism, you didn't like what you hear, right? Because people are telling you about what you're not good at. But you have to listen to it. Looking back now, it's good that I did. Yeah, I cried a little bit. Maybe I cried inside lah, or maybe I cried at home. But I guess it made me stronger and understand that better. It's better for you to tell, or people tell you that you're not good at something and all that. And if you want to be good, really fix that, and listen to it. Don't listen to everything, nak dengar benda positif sajalah, always positive je apa semua. Okay, I'm sure we all humans. I'm sure there's something that we're not good at. Tell us how we can be better lah, But accept it, deal with it, and fix it and improve it. If you don't want to fix it, then I don't know how you're gonna improve yourself lah. So I even put myself, and I keep telling my team now in Media Prima Audio what I went through in my earlier years of my career. So I started my career at 24. I'll be honest, 2001, 24. Right? You can guess how old I am now. So what I learned is that, they can teach you about everything you want. There's a manual. People can tell you about how it is. There's a manual for that. But it's nothing like for you to get your hands on it and actually learn it yourself. You really have to figure it out yourself. So after all the advices that's given to you, you really have to fiddle around with the system and all that to understand it better for yourself. And that's what I did. And I learned that from other people in the company as well, from the producer, production engineer and all that. So I learned, I sat down and I wanted to know more about, how do you do this? How do you use Pro Tools? How do you edit, right? Okay, how do you write scripts? What do you do? What's the technique with it? How do you write it to compress it to 30 seconds? So what are the things, the voiceovers, what's the technique? How do you get into the mic and all that? What's the level that's good so you don't pop or, you don't get distorted? Those kind of things. So I would always spend extra time at the office. During the early years of the 2000s, let's be honest, during those times, we used to work six days a week because there was a Saturday and half day Saturday lah. And then eventually it became like alternate Saturdays. And then eventually it became only one Saturday per month. And then eventually it became 5-day week. So it changed, right? So just like now, it's starting to, people are thinking about, is there an option to work from home lah and all these kind of things. But at that time, we work on Saturdays. So I use every hour that I can, even extra hours, during the working days, weekdays, instead of working 9 hours, I would put in extra 2 to 3 hours just to learn more about other things. And this was encouraged by my HOD, my bosses that time and all that. Say that if you want to learn, can, but learn it outside of your working time. If you finish your day job, whatever that you have done that you're supposed to do, okay, you want to do something else that's outside of your job scope, can, but do it outside of your working hours lah. So okay lah, I'll take that as my initiative lah. It's my own will lah. So I try to learn as much as I can from other people and just try to equip myself better to understand more about radio. And we also had some trainings that was available to us. We learned from people from Australia, Austereo, who were really up in their game at that point. We had sharing session, and we shared session with people from Indonesia radio station as well. Just sharing session how to do it and all that with among producers, among at that point the technical person, the engineers and all that. So and then that's where I started to push more of my knowledge in radio and understanding it. And it benefited because when there was an opportunity for me to rise in the ranks, I was given the opportunity to take it. So from a producer, being a music executive, sometimes I will have to wear two hats: music executive and producer. And then eventually became assistant manager before I moved on to another station. So that's how when I went to, and I told you earlier, when I went to Taylor Swift concert, I'm not like a super fan. Okay lah, of course we all know because we're in the music industry, kan? When a song came on, love story, and all that trouble and all that, I can actually remember the lyrics. It's because I was scheduling it back in the day. That was my jam, scheduling it into the system. So, yeah, so I was like, okay, and I like Beastie Boys, Cypress Hill, Rage Against the Machine. Those are my jams. But because you have to really open up your horizon, your taste in music when you're in the radio station. You have to play what people like, not what you like. So that's the change that I had to make lah.
What I found most inspiring was you said you work after hours to learn.
I did.
And I can really see the passion to learn. So you're not only like now you're a CEO, but you had a lot of technical knowledge also back in the day.
Yeah.
So that's what's so inspiring to me. You work hours, no, you don't get paid extra, but you just want to learn what is the best out there, what is the best way to do things. So that is very, very inspiring indeed.
Yeah.
And when I was going through your social media, you also mentioned just now, you said you listen to people, listen to your superiors, and taking that feedback. Wow, that is also very, very important. And also, I see in your social media, you also mentioned Dato' J as your mentor a lot. I think you have many mentors.
Yeah.
So maybe also share with us, like for the audience, how do you learn from these mentors?
Of course, I did not know then what it meant to me, but now that I look back, it means a lot to me because these mentors actually guide you and also tells you of their experience, of what they've gone through, what they have achieved, and also their mistakes. Basically, to tell you, don't make the mistake that I made, and be better at it, and move on, and show that you're able to do this way better than any of us, right? And pass on the baton lah. I have great mentors like that from Dato' J and a few other people around me and all that, saying that it's always about encouragement, right? And of course, with encouragement, there's a lot of criticism. Balance lah, kena lah, kan? So I had to learn to accept that. Of course, it's hard to listen to criticism all the time, kan? Who wants to hear negative stuff, especially about you? But it makes you better. You understand it because maybe you don't see yourself not being good at it. You think you're good at it. But you use that as an encouragement for you to, okay, you know what? If I'm not good at this, then I should do something that I'm good at. But use your weakness as your advantage lah. That means your drive to push forward. And I hold on to that, and I listen to many of the heroes or the champions from sports to music icons and all that, of why did they achieve what they achieve. I'm sure there's stories behind all that achievements, right? The struggles and all that you don't see. You hear things like why people win championship. You don't see the struggles that they put behind it and all that. So kind of have, I'm sure the stories that I can relate to, because stories that were shared to me from even Dato Jake, he was a DJ at the club. You never thought of him being a CEO of a broadcasting company, and I, whatever that he has shared with me, during my career with him, and I was like, "Oh, it makes so much of sense. I can relate to that, but in a different way, right?" And then there's other people that was doing well in their life, and it's best to hear from people who have achieved something that you can learn from, because these are the mentors that have achieved, and then in terms of their ranks and all that, due to the fact that they have more years that's put into their profile, right? I mean, not not wrong to hear from your peers, same age and all that, but the achievement might be so level up compared to the others that's much more older than you, much more experienced than you. And I put that together, and I put that, and I say, this could be me one day. And the great thing about this is all these mentors, and it's great. And whenever you see on this motivational videos, or even speakers and all that, right? They always tell you, the CEOs will never tell you bad things or never discourage you to do anything to elevate yourself. They always encourage you. It's those people who are not well off or not doing well that's telling you, no lah, you're not good at it lah. Don't even waste your time. You know what I mean? So these guys will encourage you to find your way, and don't be afraid to fail, because you will fail definitely. But those are your learning curves lah. Those are your lessons, and I take that. And to say that I haven't cried during the time that I learned during the experience, I can tell you how many times I've cried. It's just that people don't see it. you know, I can tell you right now, I had my depression period. When the time was, I was like, oh my god, I think I cannot do this anymore. I just want to stop. I just want to quit. I just want to drop off. And that was the time when I was with another station under the same company, era. So at that point, there was a death in the team, one of the talents that we kind of started rebuilding and got connection with and all that. So suddenly passed away because of some accident that happened. So I was so demotivated to continue on working, because I saw how it meant for us, but also for the family. That you know it was moving lah. I mean, a career rebounds lah for that person. The late, I was talking about the late Dem Ramboy lah. So when he was in ICU, I was like, oh man, I don't know if I can do this lah. I felt so down. I don't know why. I just felt so down. I didn't know what it is. So I didn't come to work for about a month. I just didn't want to come to work. I didn't want to work at that point. I just want to sit down. I just not think about anything. I just not do anything. So that was the lowest point of my life, that I said, I probably at that point, if I did decide to give up and drop everything, I won't be here lah. I will be probably doing something else. I don't know. So you just need that one person, that one good person, to actually tell you exactly what you need to hear. And at that point, I don't know if he remembers me on this or not. Dato Jake was the one who called me up, and I was actually outside. He asked me, "Why are you?" I said, "I'm outside." I said, "Are you coming to work?" "I don't know." I said, "Why?" I said, "I'm not feeling it. I'm still sad about this whole situation. We have to move on, come back, get back to it, move on. Things happen, accidents happen. This is part of life. Come back, and let's go do this together." That's all he said. Maybe I just needed to hear that. Maybe somebody knew that, and reached out and just said that kind of word that I needed to hear. Just come back. Get back to it. It's part of life. Move on. Right? And the next day I came back to work. And continued on and proceed, and just, continued on until today. Alhamdulillah. And I was like, wow. To remember that point, those things needed to happen for me to find myself, like maybe. Maybe I was so caught up with work and all that, and so gung ho and all that, but something happened, just pulled me down straight away. And then what happens? Do you give up or do you move on? You only have two choices, lah, you know. But that person, that moment was needed in order for you to move on. And that was a great story. I will remember it forever at that point, you know, because that was a turning point for me. Alhamdulillah lah. It's a nice lesson to have, and I keep telling people when they are down, when they are not doing great, when something is bothering them personally, or whatever it may be, I keep telling them I have gone through that as well. You know, so it can happen to all of us.
So happy you're still here today.
Alhamdulillah,
still running.
alhamdulillah. Yeah, alhamdulillah. Syukur.
Yeah. The other day, me and my producer Elton, we came, and when we walked around with you throughout the Media Prima offices, and one of the things I noticed was that, you know, a lot of people come and salam with you and say
Yeah.
hi to you, and they were very excited to see you.
Yeah.
So as a leader today, you know, we talk about how, you know, you were inspired by leaders in the past.
Yeah.
So as a leader today, how do you build the culture here at Media Prima Audio?
Number one is be yourself lah. Don't fake it lah. People can tell that you're faking it, right? So I just try to be honest as possible and try to share that I'm also a human lah. You know, behind the CEO title and all that, everybody wants to have that title, right? Everybody's like, wow, who doesn't? I do too. You know, back in the day, I was like, wow, if I can be CEO one day, I so aspire to be that person, you know. But that title again is just a title lah, but you still have to somehow inspire the team to actually, you know, push through the agenda, you know, to really make them understand that they are really good at what they do and find themselves. So I try to influence them. Try to tell them stories that relates well to me, that I personally have gone through. It's better to tell my side of the story than tell people's side of the story, which I don't know. I probably read it off from a book or social media. But if it's coming from me, it's my story, and that's close to me, obviously, that I've gone through it, they can feel it. Just like what I'm sharing with you, right?
Yes.
And I keep sharing this all the time when I have my, I do have my sessions with small group, what I call it, catch-up sessions, or tea sessions. So I have like maybe 4 or 5 people at a time, randomly just pick it out, and then discuss about anything and everything, you know. Just ask me anything type of sessions, and then I have my town hall, which we call sound hall. You know, it goes with the name lah, Media Prima Audio. You know, just to align it lah. Then kind of like share my story that, you know, I was like just like you guys. I started, you know, just like any one of you, from assistant, from a nobody to somebody here. So this means that it can be any one of you next. So just like my previous leaders in the past that always encouraged me, you're going to be the next leader. You can be the next CEO if you believe in it or not, if you want it or not. And now that I'm here, I want to do the same thing to them. And this is why it's important for me to share that, because when I was given that inspiration to be that person, now that I'm here, I want that person to be that. That means you can be the next leader one day. It's just whether you want it or not. So any types of situation that they have an achievement, whether it's a personal achievement or family achievement, you know, applaud them. But if they're down, they haven't achieved anything, also encourage them, you know, learn from this and move on, you know, because I see myself in them all the time.
Wow.
Yeah, so I try. I mean, I'm not perfect. I try. I mean, I try to reach as much as I can. We don't have a big team. We have about 100 plus and all that. But I try. I learn basically from my experience to kind of build that relationship, you know, understand them better. Maybe they don't understand how, you know, when they're stuck at something, when they have a roadblock, they don't understand how to move forward with it. If you listen to them, just listening to them, it helps a lot. Yeah, just listening to them. Sometimes I just do that, and they say, "Oh, I just feel great just telling you what I'm going through." I might not have an answer for you, but at least does it help that I'm listening to you? I said, "Yeah, it does." So at least a small thing helps lah. Try lah, you know, try. It's not perfect. You try as much as you can.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it was great experience working with your team. You know, Adam helped us to set up the lights today.
fantastic,
So
fantastic.
we are collaborating. So we have all these things from your team. Yeah, so today you lead all these radio stations. You know, all these here.
Yeah.
And one of the things I want to dig up was this World Radio Day was recent. So since you've been CEO here, we have different personalities as DJs. We have,
Yeah.
of course, the famous one is KJ. We have Arif Yong now from who is an influencer, now the DJ, and now we have also Ryan also
Yeah.
the DJ, and many other personalities that I know here.
Yeah.
So as the sort of the CEO now, and this is something that you won awards for. What is the strategy? Like, are you bringing different people into radio, and are you relating to the masses? What are you doing in terms of the DJs?
Okay, so in radio stations we have different target demographics and different languages, and sometimes you want to have that difference of chemistry to connect with the audience, because radio is intimate, right? It's more personal. So to me, what I've learned throughout my career to building Media Prima Audio with the team, of course, credit to the team to actually giving up, kind of injecting ideas, to strategizing it, and to finding talents that fit the profile of the stations, is that we need to ensure that that personality is genuine and also they can connect. So it doesn't limit yourself to just having a good voice, but you don't understand the people. It doesn't matter if you're a big star, but you don't know how to talk to people. So those are the things that we look for, right? And sometimes, maybe by sheer experience that we have had, back in the day we used to have these auditions behind the scenes, or you have a talent competitions and all that, and we do still do that in a way lah. But I guess with our experience that we came, from this career in radio, and how many years now, more than 20 years, is that I can tell that you can connect with people when you talk to me, or even when you talk to someone and all that, by just hearing your personality. So that's what we do. We listen to personalities behind the voice. And then how can you really relate to the audience that we're looking for stations like Hot, Malay speaking, mass, cool, a bit more intellectual, Molek, a bit more community based in Pantai Timur, Fly, English, right? You're gonna have a bit of that swagger and more of that current language that's more TikTok friendly or social media friendly, that type of thing, right? And then 8, more Chinese, more upskilling type of audience, and then also Audio Plus in our application to house all the stations, but also our podcast and also our catch up in case they don't hear the live shows. It's very important because radio plays that part, and you need someone who can immediately catch on to what's happening currently, especially locally. We have to be really hyper local. So this means that what's happening in KL, suddenly there's a flood. How do we connect to the people that wants to know what's happening currently that we need to know about? It cannot be just news update, there's flood. Okay, that's probably the news lah. There will be news all over the place anyway. But for radio, how do we do it differently? So somebody needs to pick up the phone and call the Jabatan Bomber or all these other organizations to help flood victims, or even the police and all that. So what can we do to help the people who are affected by this, or people who are not affected by this? How can they benefit from listening to this? So there's many angles towards that, and you need to really understand the psyche of this lah, of your audience. So if you understand that well, you need that voice, that talent to work with that. You cannot just pick and choose and put it in there. Yeah, you make mistakes lah. I can tell you a lot of, during my career, we have hired some talents. We thought it was good, but then end up was not good. So the one that we think that was okay only, but then end up to be super. Yeah, we do make that calls, that mistakes lah. Sometimes we just judge a book by its cover sometimes and all that. But out of all that mistakes, we actually have narrowed down exactly what we want. So finding KJ was the right fit because we kind of knew how he was. It was a risk, definitely. But when these guys came up with the idea, and it was very spontaneous during that time where there was a lot of noise about the political situation in Malaysia and all that, right? And then KJ seems to be sticking out because, people just love him overall, of his charisma and all that. And it was just a really random, casual conversation. So the team said, if you want to get a talent on board, who would it be that is not a DJ, that's not currently an announcer from another station, that is not a celebrity and all that? Who would it be? It was just something random that we want to throw out there and just challenge ourselves, right? And then during that time when this was happening, KJ lost his job, lost his position in the party and all that. Oh, maybe he needs a job. Why don't we give him a job? And it was just a, casual conversation and all that. And I thought, when I heard that from the team, it's like, that's a great idea. I love that. I love that. Because I love these new challenges and all that, just pushing the boundaries, right? Great idea. I was like, let's pursue that. And of course, my team was like, can be done or not? I said, okay, let's ask the hard questions, right? What is he good at? He's good persona. People like him. People like to see him. He has a nice title behind him, tall, dark, and handsome. He can talk. He's intelligent. But is he funny? We don't expect him to be funny. That's not his job, right? He needs to be himself. Maybe it can work. So I guess those are the things that we always brainstorm about. Talk about these random things and all that, and just ideas can come up from anywhere. So one of that discussion was perfect timing. So when the team came out with it, okay, let's pursue it. And I like to encourage that. And I like to encourage that, meaning that, these big ideas, let's do it. Let's try it. It's better if we try and we fail than we not try at all. Betul tak?
Yep.
So push it on. Help them out. And this happened like randomly. And I remember this so well. So Friday night, I was at a concert, Bumiputera Business concert in Plenary Hall. I was enjoying that. And then the news broke out about KJ not being jobless, literally. Okay? Then I got WhatsApp messages and all that from my team, then saying that this happened, blah, 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 and all that. What do we do? Blah, blah. Do you still want to continue? And then try to do and offer him a job and all that. Worry that it's going to get backlash, blah, 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 and all that. I said, you know what? It's a great idea. Let's do it. Let's just try it out and see what happens and see if he responds or not. I don't have his personal number, let's be honest. I don't have no connection with him, nothing whatsoever. So we said this, and then we, of course, elevated to our shareholders and all that, our board of directors and all that, saying that this is what we're doing. Just FYI, in case it goes up to you and all that. So, of course, I have to do my part, And then the team just organize everything else. But I support them from behind. I encourage them, just do it. Tell me how you're going to do it. And let me see it before it goes out. Just in case, At least I can back you guys up, in case anything happens or backlash or anything like that. So the next day, Saturday, of course, people will be off and all that. But in radio, there's no sleeping, It's 24 hours, man. 24 hours. I'll be up in the middle of the night. Something is wrong and all that. And I'll comment to my team. And it happened to me before also when I was working. My supervisor, my boss will be telling me, hey, what did you do here? And it's like, hey, I'm out of office already. It's my off day. It's not. So radio doesn't sleep. It's been like that forever. So it's been in my DNA. So literally, if it's even my off days, we'll be like on the ball with what's happening and how do we put it on our platform, right? So on Saturday, we came up with the idea. I called everyone to ensure that we're clear with this in terms of compliance-wise, regulations-wise, make sure we don't break any rules. Don't break the law. The law can break the rules. Don't break the law.
Yeah.
I guess that's what we go by, So when that's clear, check with everything and all that. I told the team, okay, move on it. Propose to it. How are you going to do it? So they open up an offer letter, an open letter to join us, or post it on social media. I checked everything else, make sure it's there. One of the things that you don't see if you go back to that offer letter to KJ was that there's no signature under it. It was supposed to be my name. I said, don't put my name there. Make it blank. It's from Hot FM. So that was the thing that was cut off. And that went off on air and that went viral. We just hope that for him to just respond to at least a tweet or comment. That's it. We don't expect him to actually call us or anything like that. And I'm sure he's busy. I'm sure he's going through a lot of things. And we just hope that at least respond only lah. And that was the only thing we expected. If he just responded and said, sorry, I'm busy and all that, we accepted it. But we just wanted to see it, try our luck. But if he does join, it's like, oh my God, it will be the biggest deal of the century lah. Never been done before. I've never heard this in my career in radio. I've never heard this type of thing before. But if we do it, it will be super. It will be like cherry on top of my career in radio, my personal career in radio. And I was a part of this team that came up with this brilliant idea. So I just helped out on the side and all that to make sure that they are covered lah. So it's my responsibility as well. So when that happened and all that, everybody pitched in the ideas and all that to make it work, and we got everybody there. The hot team, Jake also was involved, Aaron also was involved, was giving every bit of details of how to ensure that we do this well lah. Of course, we had the experience of what we have done before, because these guys are new to certain things and all that. Then we put together what can go wrong and what can go right, and put everything on it and ensure that we are really confident with this and go all the way. And when that happened, and we almost gave up at one point because he never responded. So KJ never responded for about a week. So we waited still. So the letter went out on 28th January, if I can remember, right? 28th January. So a week later, it didn't respond. And then another week, we said we give it another week and see what happens. So hopefully he responds then. If he doesn't respond, then maybe we get him to just write, just thank you, but I can't take this right now, or something like that. At least something, or even a voice note, so we can play it. So then somehow he responded 2 weeks later, and then when he responded, we got the news from his press secretary. His PA lah, Bobby, updated us. Okay, he said it will come on air. He will let you know exactly when, what day. So we expected that. I said, okay, great. So, and then he said it will come on Wednesday. And at that point, it was February 15th lah. So, and then we did not know that what he was going to do. We said probably he was just going to come on air and all that. But then he came out with a video. He released a video on his social media saying that he's joining the political party Hot FM. I was like, oh my God, didn't expect that. And it blew up. I was like, yo, okay, all this work, all this effort that we put into it, all this back and forth, all this trying to make sure that everything was all right, everything was clean, we're not going against the law, everything like that and all that, was all worth it when he released that video. And the next day he came on board. Then that was history lah. That was like hari ni dalam sejarah for us, literally. Maybe for the country as well, but for us, it was the best thing ever. And in my radio career, I can't remember anything that is as big as this one. Close to it, but not as big as this one. This one like was super. And to me, it was like, yeah, I love this. This is what taught me to make radio not just radio. It's about creating great content for radio. It's not just playing music. It's not about having good voices, DJs having good voices and all that. It's about everything that is to it. You are connecting with people. How do you connect with people? So that was the best thing ever. So what we do here is we try to do it differently from what we were trained before, and finding talents that is not your typical celebrities, your other DJs and all that. It's literally finding, it could be somebody from out there that is working at a customer service and has great personality behind it. They just don't know it, right? And you hear it, it's like, hey, it's gonna be something here. Come, join us. That kind of thing, and then ends up it's actually going to be, I have a few of that discoveries along the way in my career. Yeah. So you just have to open yourself up. Don't just limit yourself to a certain, because talents are everywhere. You just need to know what you're looking for and how can this fit into your brands.
That's amazing. I salute you for that, because hearing from you, it was such a risk. It's political. There's so many things that could happen.
Very.
And really, and it's being a CEO, that's such a big risk.
It is a big risk. This is what people don't see, because the work behind the scenes is actually tough. They see the things that, oh, nice, oh, viral, oh, looks great, oh, funny, and all those kind of things. But the work, the effort behind it, it literally took the whole team to prepare for it, and took the weekend off to prepare for it. And I literally was at that Saturday that we were trying to make this happen. I was literally on the road to see my daughter at her dorm in the asrama in Raub Pahang, because I promised to see her on the weekend. But I had to do this at the same time. So luckily my wife was with me, so I told her to drive, let me work on this on the phone call and all that, let me work with the team and all that to ensure that they're on the track lah. Because the drive from my house to there is about 2 to 3 hours. So I cannot even skip 5 minutes. I have to be on the ball with them to make sure that they are on the ball with whatever they're doing. Make sure they're all right and all that. We literally was on the phone with each other in the WhatsApp group and all that to make sure it happened. If this happened like the time when there's no social media and all that, it would be quite tougher. Back in the day in the 2000s that I was in my younger years lah, my early career and all that, because hardly any WhatsApp or visual or video call or anything like that, kan? Everything was so manual, so maybe it was harder to execute like this. Now that you have all these gadgets and all that to move fast and to create everything on remotely and all that, you don't have to go back to the office. It makes it easier lah. So I guess timing is also everything, right? If not, then if I did this back in the day without any social media or gadgets and all that, we have to go back to the office and get it done. Now you don't have to. So I guess those are the blessing in disguise. But a lot of people was actually involved with it. I guess the whole hot team was behind it. I got the digital team to create visuals for it, to do the letter for it. I had to deal with my group managing director at that time as well to make sure. And then I called my shareholders to make sure that he's all right. Personally, I had to call him and say that this is what I'm going to do. Hope you're okay with it, And luckily, the first thing he said was, first he just giggled, huh? I was like, okay, this is trouble. He's probably going to scream at me. And this, this really happened. I love this. This is the best thing ever. I love this idea. Go for it. Oh, when he just agreed to it and he was okay with it, there was nothing wrong with it. I was like, guys, let's run with this. Let's run with this. So I, helped out the connection with everyone else on top, but everyone else at the bottom, make sure that they do it right lah. So everything, make sure when you do this kind of things that's so big, make sure you cover everything else lah with people that is invested to the business, the shareholders, the bosses and all that. Must make sure everything is covered dulu.
Yeah. That's why people don't see it, right? The shareholders behind pulling all the strings with the board, with the MD, with all the stakeholders.
Yeah.
Wow, that is the.
It's not that I duduk belakang tengok je diorang buat apa semua macam dah buat belum? Dah kerja belum? Bagi I report. No, I was literally on the phone and all that back and forth while I was driving to see my daughter, but then at the same time trying to approve whatever that they're doing, make sure it's right, make sure it's worded right, apa semua, all these copies, and connect with the other guys, So everybody was involved lah. But credit to the team for pulling up so fast,
Congratulations. So as we speak now, I think last week or 2 weeks ago was your 1 year anniversary.
Yeah.
This is the photo you took with Shari and KJ also.
Yep.
And congratulations. I actually listen to Hall FM now because
All
of
right.
this.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't think we'd go this far, When we started, we thought that, okay lah, at least dapat for 1 week KJ with us, nice. Dapat 1 day pun nice. That was surprising to us is that KJ is so unpredictable that it benefited us in so many ways. Because we thought that it's just going to be temporary and then, okay lah, I tried it and maybe I move on. And we kind of prepared for that lah when he agreed to join us. But he said, okay, let's do this next week again. And then let's do it for another week for 1 month. I was like, oh, okay. All right. And then continue again. And then 3 months later, he was still on. I was like, okay, how far are we going? Because we didn't know whether he's going to go back to politics at that point and all that, right? Because he was still ding-donging and all that, still trying to find his way into politics and all that. And then he released Keluar Sekejap after he joined us on the air, on radio. So, and then we thought, okay, maybe he is going back to politics. And then after the 3rd month, then he literally just came to us and said, do you still want me on radio? Well, do you still want to go on radio? I don't know what your proposal is next. No, I have no plans to go back to politics yet. No, I really want to take a break. If you still want me on radio, I'm worthy to be a radio jock for you guys and all that. Hey, I'm offering myself to you. I was like, wow, you're offering yourself to us. I was like, okay, let's do it for a year. How about it? Let's do it until, no, last year was until end of December, and then we'll see what happens then. And then came December, and then it was like, do you still want to do this again? Do you still want me? Okay, I'm okay to do it. Okay, let's sign on again. So, second year now. So that's why we celebrated that 1 year anniversary. We never thought we'd be celebrating a 1 year anniversary with KJ. Seriously, never thought that. I was like, wow, it's like really, KJ really worked wonders for us. And, Alhamdulillah, Shukr for all his support and all that, and really made Hot FM one of the biggest, if not the biggest radio station right now. And still people talk about it. And because of these things that we have done, and we made a really drastic last minute decision to have him on board and to do this was the best decision of your life. And sometimes that moment only comes once, never again. And if you did not make that decision to move on it and to offer him a job, I don't think we'll ever, or we'll probably regret it today, lah. So I guess the window only happened during that time. It can never happen again.
Thanks so much for sharing. It's like the biggest signing. It's like like signing Cristiano Ronaldo to Real Madrid.
Yes, something like that. So the philosophy behind this, when we created this product, this brand, this radio station, is always about comparing it to a football philosophy. When you're signing a player, what does it do to you? I learned that, and I learned about Liverpool. And luckily, I have a lot of friends who are Liverpool fans, my family members and all that. And Jake is a hardcore Liverpool fan as well. So a lot of that philosophy came from that. So you buy a player, and how would that change the economics of the club? And then what happens to it? Of course, you have to perform, score goals. So for us, the strikers are the breakfast show. So the breakfast show really have to score goals. They are the front threes. They are the number nines. Who's the number 9? Who's the number 10? Who's the goalkeeper? So in the team, it has to be like that. You have to portray it like that. So in the team of announcers, who plays that positions? And the one that is running the station, who is the manager? Who is the coach? That kind of thing. So, and who's the technical coach? That kind of thing has to play a part in it. So we try to do as much as we can in terms of football philosophy. And there's only a few lah that doesn't know about football or doesn't even follow football. Try to work it in a different way. People who understand football would know it better, like easy. But people who doesn't understand football, treat it in a way that they understand it. What other sports or even business that you understand it more to portray that philosophy.
Wow, now I learned the Media Prima audio is a football
It is.
philosophy.
It is somewhat of that.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing it with us today. It's such a long conversation from your childhood, to your early days, to what you do today with Media Prima Audio. So thank you so much for being here and sharing your story. Last question to wrap up. So now we are in February. Last question. So we have the last photo is you at Anfield. so my last question on record. Will Liverpool win the league this year?
Yes, they will. Premier League and Europa League. That is a great present for Klopp's last season. In fact, I will be watching at least one game before his career ends at Liverpool. Really, I mean, whatever that he has done to the club, it inspires people like us managing a company or a club or whatever, a business, that philosophy that he has, bringing the team together, rebuilding it from something from scratch, and elevating it to where it is today, is superb, man. Is superb. I love his charisma and all that. I'm not probably as good as him by far, definitely, right? But I would be so honored to have my name on the back as Klopp, just because his philosophy resonates so well with me, even though I'm not running a football club, right? But it's I aspire to be lah. But yes, Premier League, Europa League. I mean, we already got the Carabao Cup. Got that. To me, is superb. It's a nice ending, nice farewell gift to Klopp, but also to the club and to us as fans. Yeah.
Right. So thank you so much, Nazri. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you, Bob.
So much.
Thank you. All the best.
And here, thank you.
Okay, we start off. As we enter the room, you will see news. Very simple. But what happens in here is that the whole team from news will be doing all the data from updating what's happening in the country and putting up on the station. They're having lunch now. Yeah. So this is where all the news team sits, and they will share the data from what's happening from Monday to Friday, but also during the traffic times, which is morning and also evening. But when they get the data, they put it up and they share it to the stations. And if they need to record it, they will have a separate studio to record that. Some of them will go into the on-air studio and record it while the announcers are on air, but sometimes they will go into the separate studio to record it, to just put it, and then they will link up into the station that's on air. So if you're listening now, right now on Cool, there's no announcer during the workday. It's literally automated, just playing music until 3 o'clock, right? So this is always playing. So what you're hearing now is actually what's playing on air. Yeah, so that's basically it. So while nobody is in here, I can show you what's inside the studio. Really simple setup. One thing you need to know that when these guys go on air, they need to really focus, especially the announcers or the DJs, focus on what they're going to say. They should not worry about the playlist or what's playing other than the songs, which is the commercials. And the commercials is necessary because it pays our bills lah. And what they need to really be aware of, apart from what to say, and if they have a guest, they also need to ensure that whatever that is committed from the client or even a PSA that need to announce, they need to highlight it. So ensure that it's all put out there on the air according to the time that is slated lah.
Yep.
And don't miss that. If they miss that, it will taken off from the paycheck because it's a paid, slots. But what's one thing that is important here is that there's going to be two things that they really need to pay attention to. Number one is the dump button. Dump button is important because we have an 8-second delay. 8-second delay is necessary because in case anything happens and we are live, that if anything happens that went on air that's not supposed to be on air, we have 8 seconds to dump it. This means that whatever that we have said and it was live, we can act on it immediately in 8 seconds and it will play next. It will not play what we have said or whatever that was supposed to be on air. Now, the other part to that is the callers, and we always connect with the callers and even the guests.
I see the phone numbers there.
Yes. Yeah, so when they call, they will talk about whether they will share about the topics of the day or even just randomly call. And we don't take live calls because we have to record it because we worry about what they're going to say.
Yep.
Of course, we have to respect the compliance, lah, the rules and regulations of broadcasting, and that's to respect the 3R.
Yep.
Race, religion, and royalty.
Yep.
Do not touch any of that. If they touch that, and of course we are aware of it, but if the callers, they won't know. They probably don't like anything, and they will talk about another race. Oh, that's a no-no. We cannot play that. So we dump it, we delete it, never ever put it on again. So things like that. So that's why we have to pre-record callers and also pre-record the interviewers, not to go live unless that guest that we are interviewing is a professional. Could be a police, could be even royalty or the PMX, and we have had the Agong before on Hot. Of course, he knows what he's saying, so obviously he's not going to say anything bad. So that's live lah, that kind of thing lah.
Yeah.
But everyone else gonna have to be really well prepared lah. So the talents have to do their show prep. We call it show prep. They have to prepare themselves and make sure that the content directors look through what they're gonna say throughout the show, so that they don't go away from whatever that they plan for the day. And also to check up just in case they miss anything out, so that make sure you talk about this because this is really important to highlight. Not that kind of thing lah. So it's very important. So it's not just you come here, sit here, and you talk, but there are rules to it.
Yeah.
And these are the things that the behind the scenes that you need to be aware of. Only breakfast show has producers. Other shows doesn't have producers. Other shows, they have to really think about what they're gonna do. Breakfast shows, they have to be a bit more casual and a bit more out there. So they will have a support of producer because it's really like on the ball. It's like really like on the go. What happens here now, next hour could be like something that is totally different. and something happens the next hour, you have to catch up on it. There's like a big accident or something happened and all that, you have to update it. So really have to be aware of what's happening. So those kind of things. So yeah. So not every show has a producer, only the breakfast show. Yeah, and all stations have breakfast show producers. And breakfast producers, they don't sit in here. They sit outside. Yeah. So this is the producer of Cool 101, and he's still here. He's finishing up the show until what time?
Almost 2 p.m.
2 p.m. Yeah, something like that, sometimes if he does have to go out and meet clients or even stakeholders or something in terms of to bring up content for the show, he will just go out there and prepare what's next for tomorrow. Right now, he's just preparing for what's going to happen tomorrow and just put in last minute touches and all.
Yeah.
But producer really is not from morning and all that. It's literally until late at night before you sleep. What time do you sleep? 10, 11. And you wake up?
Wow.
That was me before, no? That was me before. 4 o'clock, I wake up. 5 o'clock, I'm only in the studio, no? And sometimes by 6 o'clock, I'm still in the office. That's how it was. So this production stuff is producing all the promos, whether it's about concert of Taylor Swift's concert that's happening or coming up is, and April is Incubus.
Oh.
So they'll be promoting that. Ticket giveaways. The voiceover will be given a script. So the production engineer will be producing. I used to do this as well because as a producer, you need to understand about the production engineer, right?
Yeah.
You need to know how to edit. So when I understand my product, I can edit it and all that. Only the mixing and all that, I leave it to the production engineer. And it makes it faster like that so you understand about the whole concept of radio itself. Timing is important for them because when you do a promo, timing, you cannot be like doing super long. So the script also has to be super short because music has to really implement or really support what the promo is going to talk about or promote. 30 seconds is our usual number or minutes or seconds that we have to really produce. Anything longer than that, it's considered too long. This is our number 2 English station. 5FM, of course, the only difference is that we have AI DJ. You don't see it here. Because AI went. Yeah. But somebody is prompting him.
What does it mean, AI DJ?
AI DJ meaning that, actually there is an AI DJ that we have created. And her name is Aina, but we have right now currently is Aiman. So the voice we are prompting from someone in the team, and we just tweaked it, but image of totally some image, new image that we have created for him. But in terms of the speech and all that, it's all recorded and really manufactured to become that persona.
So
But somebody
it's literally
is but somebody's prompting it lah. Yeah, prompting it. Somebody like right now, Adam is behind the machine now. You see that? Okay, so he's editing and manning the show right now. But what he will be doing is he will be prompting what AI will say. Yeah, there'll be somebody writing that down loud. They scripted that. With that words. So we have the first Malaysian AI DJ. We got the Malaysia Vocal Records for that last year. And we're still going to do more. And one of my topics tomorrow is that AI for the World Congress. So this one is without this department, none of this can really be broadcasted outside. So what happens here is this is the area where you actually monitor what goes out on air. Make sure that the frequencies are all out. Make sure everything is okay. If there's anything wrong with certain areas like Klang Valley, the coverage, something happened to the frequency, or it just blacked out or wet dead air of what happened. So they will be notified and they have to act to it. And they have to, if it's really an emergency, they have to go to the site and actually fix the frequency. But if it's not within their control, we have to contact with the vendors, which is either TM or the people that is there that's manning it. So it's important we have this monitor 24 hours a day. So these guys are on shifts all the time. They'll be working on weekends as well, but of course on shifts and up until midnight and sometimes mid-dawn.
A radio station cannot be down, right?
Cannot be down. If it's down even for 5 seconds, we lost whistles or we lose listenership. That's we always portray it like that. Lah. So never. So when something goes wrong and it goes off air, we have to run and really put it back on air. And if it's cannot be done for some reason, probably there's some tragedy happened at the site and that the transmitter is out of order, then we have to find a way of how to make it happen. So what happens is we have to connect with the vendors to ensure that it's properly run better, or we have to compensate for sometimes we have commitments with the clients to run the ads, but then because it was off air, could not run the ads during that time. You have to compensate lah. So it's business lah at the end of the day.
Yeah. So that's pretty much is where the Hall FM KJ is.
You want to see that, right? Okay, come. Okay. Yeah, so this is the legendary studio. So KJ mostly sits either here or this chair. Okay, so there will be every Monday and Fridays now. So everything they do in here and what you see on social media and all that is pretty much this is the space. And the dancing video on TikTok and all that is actually here or there. Yeah, it's all here. It's all done here. Very. Anybody as at every level has been in here. The last one was the king. Yeah, the last king. Yeah, Sultan Pahang. He was here with the Permaisuri Agong. So, and they have never been in a radio station before. And it was the first time that they came in. It was Hot FM. And we interviewed him. And it was so touching because he gave his farewell to the people for the last 5 years that he was the Agong of the country. Lah. It was really cool. Everybody actually, was swarming the studio because, wanted to get a glimpse of our king and queen for the last time before they go back to Pahang. Lah. It was really cool. So literally everybody has been sitting. You can just name it. Yeah, everybody. So it is. The aura, you can smell it, Because everybody that comes into the studio, you know what they ask? Of course, since KJ came in. What does KJ say? Even the Permaisuri Agong, she walked in, KJ duduk mana? I was like, oh my God. That was the first thing that they asked. So yeah, legendary place. So everybody that comes in here for a visit, they always want to take a picture at this area.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Right. Thank you. I hope that's worth it for your advice. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Good stuff.